If your stomach feels heavy or uncomfortable after meals, especially if you're already watching what you eat and still can't explain it, you are not imagining it. What if the heaviness after dinner is not about what you are eating? What if it is about what you are doing to the food before it ever reaches your plate? Barbara had been eating carefully for 40 years. She was 73 years old. She chose the right foods. She measured portions. For 2 years, she left the dinner table and went straight to the couch. Not because she was tired, but because sitting upright felt like pressure she could not name. Possibly, her kitchen habits were the cause, and nobody had ever asked her about them. There are things happening to your food before it reaches your plate, some of them while you are preparing it, some while you are storing it, that are driving this response. The last one I am going to cover today is the one most relevant if you are already managing blood pressure after 70, and it is the one your doctor is least likely to have mentioned. The people who never hear this keep cooking the same way and keep wondering why they feel worse than their diet should allow. The ones who do hear it change 3 things in their kitchen, and the pressure after dinner starts to lift. Before I continue, have you or someone you love been told that post-meal discomfort or fatigue is just part of getting older, even while taking medication for it? Tell me in the comments. I read everyone. I'm Dr. Sarah Kim, emergency medicine physician, 15 years in preventive care. Let me show you what I found. Here is the one thing that makes this different after 70. And it changes how every item on this list affects you. Think of your body's inflammation response like a smoke alarm. A good smoke alarm reacts to real danger and then resets. After 70, that reset takes longer. Small triggers that a younger body clears in hours can linger for days in your system. That is the key difference. The same kitchen habit that was harmless at 45 can drive a slow, steady inflammatory signal at 73. The food did not change. Your body's ability to clear the signal did. Now, let's go through the list. Number 5. Leftover rice left out too long. Think of a rice pot sitting on the counter after dinner. It looks fine. It smells fine. The danger is invisible. A 2024 paper in Tropical Biomedicine confirmed what food safety researchers have known for years. A bacteria, Bacillus cereus, releases a toxin inside cooked rice that reheating cannot destroy. Reheating the rice does not destroy that poison once it has formed. The heat that kills bacteria does not touch this particular toxin. What this means for you: if cooked rice sits out more than 2 hours before you refrigerate it, reheating it the next day does not make it safe. The damage is already done. Refrigerate within 2 hours, every time. Number 4. Reheating chicken in the microwave. Think of a microwave like a spotlight, not a floodlight. It heats in uneven patches. Some spots get very hot. Others stay cool. Research on microwave cooking has consistently shown that cold zones survive inside reheated chicken, spots where the temperature never gets hot enough to kill bacteria like Salmonella. In seniors whose immune systems are running at a lower level, repeated low-level exposure to these bacteria keeps your gut in a low-grade state of irritation for days at a time. A food thermometer inserted into the thickest part of the chicken every time is the only way to confirm it is safe. Not the color, the temperature. Number 3. Cooking oils under high heat. Think of a cooking oil molecule like a chain. Under high heat, that chain breaks apart into smaller fragments. Some of those fragments are harmful. A 2016 paper in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry confirmed that standard high-heat frying produces harmful breakdown products, including compounds that are toxic to the lining of your airways and digestive tract, at levels that matter. In plain terms, the fumes your oil produces under high heat are entering your food, and after 70, your body clears them more slowly than it once did. Seed oils like sunflower, corn, and soybean are most vulnerable because of how their molecules are structured. Olive oil and avocado oil hold their structure better under heat. After 70, your body's ability to clear these breakdown products declines. The same frying temperature your body once handled without issue is now adding more than it can clear. What this means for you: the oil choice matters more after 70 than it did at 50. Number 2, dry heat cooking and inflammatory compounds in food. Think of a piece of chicken on a grill. The browning you see on the surface, those caramelized edges, is not just flavor. It is a chemical reaction that multiplies inflammatory compounds inside the food. Researchers at Mount Sinai, publishing in the Journal of the American Dietetic Association in 2010, confirmed that grilling, broiling, and frying multiplies sticky inflammatory compounds, what researchers call advanced glycation end products, or AGS, by 10 to 100 times compared to the same food cooked in water or steam. A follow-up clinical study, published in the American Journal of Kidney Diseases, tested a 4-week low-AGE diet in 189 patients. Inflammation markers dropped roughly 44%. Sticky compounds in the blood dropped roughly 35% in 4 weeks. Here's the part that matters specifically after 70. Your kidneys clear these compounds from your body. Kidney function declines naturally with age. More than 20% of adults over 70 already have reduced kidney function, even without a diagnosis. That means compounds that a younger body would filter out are staying in your system longer. The fix is not complicated. Moist heat, poaching, steaming, slow cooking in liquid, produces far fewer of these compounds. An acidic marinade before cooking also reduces formation. The food does not change. The method does. And every one of these has a fix that starts tonight. For rice, refrigerate within 2 hours of cooking. Set a timer if you need to. After 2 hours at room temperature, do not reheat it. For chicken, use a food thermometer. Insert it into the thickest part. The number needs to reach 75 degrees Celsius, 165 degrees Fahrenheit, not close to it. Add it. For cooking oil, switch your high-heat cooking oil, olive oil or avocado oil for anything going in a hot pan. Save the seed oils for cold use or low heat only. For cooking method, 1 swap per week. Grill, 1 meal this week. Next week, make it a poach or a slow cooker meal instead. You do not have to change everything at once. And now, number 1 on the list: hidden sodium and your blood pressure medication. If you are taking a blood pressure medication, specifically an ACE inhibitor or an ARB, 2 of the most common blood pressure medications prescribed after 70. If you are not sure which one you are on, check the bottle or ask your pharmacist. High dietary sodium is actively working against that medication. A 2011 paper in Advances in Chronic Kidney Disease confirmed this directly. High sodium intake causes the body to hold excess fluid. That fluid load blunts the blood pressure response to ACE inhibitors and ARBs. Your medication is doing less than it should, not because the dose is wrong, but because the sodium in your kitchen is blocking it. A large review of 88 trials and nearly 4,000 patients with high blood pressure, published in the Cochrane database in 2020, found that reducing sodium lowered the top blood pressure number by close to 6 points on average. That is as much as some medication adjustments. In plain terms, cutting hidden sodium can move your blood pressure as much as a medication adjustment without changing your prescription. Here's what makes this invisible. The sodium is not what you are adding at the table. It is already in the food before you cook. Canned broth, soy sauce, seasoning packets, and jarred sauces can push a home-cooked meal to 2,000 to 3,000 milligrams before you touch the salt shaker. The question to bring to your next appointment: say these words: I'm on an ACE inhibitor, or an ARB, whichever applies, and I want to understand what my current sodium intake might be doing to how well my medication is working. Can we look at that? That is the conversation. That is the one your prescriber is not required to start. Before I close, let me tell you what happened to Barbara. 6 weeks after Barbara changed 3 things: her oil, her cooking method on 3 nights a week, and the sodium in her pantry, the pressure after dinner had become occasional rather than constant. She did not call it a cure. She called it a shortening. The heaviness she had assumed was just her age. It was still there sometimes. But it no longer sat with her every night. Her mornings were different in a way she did not have a clinical word for. She said she stopped expecting to feel bad after eating. What changed was not her medication. Her prescriber did not adjust a single dose. What changed was 3 things she had been doing in her kitchen her whole life that nobody had ever asked her about. She still has days that are harder. That is honest. Inflammation that built over years does not reverse in 6 weeks. But the direction changed, and it changed because of information, not a new prescription. Here is what matters. This is not permanent damage. When hidden sodium sources are identified and reduced, even by the amounts I described, the interference with your blood pressure medication begins to clear within days to weeks. Blood pressure control often improves before any medication adjustment is needed. Barbara's doctor did not need to change her prescription. What changed was what was on her plate. That is a manageable cause with a measurable outcome. One more time before we close. And I want you to be specific if you can. Have you ever mentioned post-meal discomfort or fatigue to a doctor and been told it was just aging? Or found out later that something in your kitchen, a habit, not a diagnosis, was part of the problem? Tell me what happened. Tell me your situation. The comments on this kind of video are where I learn what questions people are not getting answered in the exam room. Your comment may be the reason someone else finally asks the right question. You came into this video wondering why you still felt off after meals, even when you were trying to do everything right. You are someone who now knows the difference between the kitchen habits that matter and the ones that have been overstated. And you know exactly which 3 things to change tonight. If you have a spouse, sibling, or friend who is managing inflammation or blood pressure after 70 and is still cooking the same way they always have, share this with them before their next appointment. What changes in their kitchen may matter more than what changes in their prescription. This is general health information, not advice for your specific situation. For your own case, speak with the physician who knows your full history. I get messages every week from people who are eating carefully, doing what they were told, and still can't explain why they feel worse than they should. If that is where you are right now, subscribe. Every week I bring you the mechanism behind the symptom, the specific thing that standard appointments don't have time to cover. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it. Coming up next week, why the timing of your largest meal may be doing more damage to your blood pressure than the meal itself. Stand up slowly the next time you rise from the dinner table, feel your feet on the floor, and notice whether that heaviness is already a little less than it was. I'm Dr. Sarah Kim. I'll see you in the next one.